Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. My whiteboard fell. So this is Paper Pumpkin Alternative video number 10, May 2023's Exploring in Color. And this is a fun fold. I call it the Pop In or Pop Out card. And I've got a sample to show you. I just scored it wrong, so I had to start again. So this is my sample. It stands up. It can go either way. This is the back, or this can be the front. This, I'm doing the out part, the pop out, this pop out as my front. The card base we're going to use is Wild Wheat, which I absolutely love, and I just messed up. So we're going to go again. This time we're going to pay better attention, right? It happens, especially when you're not feeling well, which I am not, and my arm is not with me. So we need to score at 2 inches. I did it at 2 1/8, and that was too much. So we're going to start at 2 inches. Now I'm going to double check with my ruler here. You can see here I have 2 score lines on my sample. So the first one is at 2, and then I'm sure it's 3, and it is 3 1/8, just like it's supposed to be. So scooch it over to 3 1/8 and score. We're going to take this out, turn it around, and we're going to repeat. So 2 inches. Let me get this over a bit because it's hitting the leg over there. So 2 inches and 3 1/8, and it is simple just when you're not all together. My arm is still splinted as my wound opened up in like 2 places, so I had to go back to doing nothing for several days, and it's still in this. You guys can't see it, but in there you can kind of get a peek of my splint going on. So we are going to start, let's see, start by folding it towards you. And then fold away from you. And then I'm going to come here, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to score towards me. And it really doesn't matter, because once you get it folded, you can fold it back on itself. All right. There we have it. Now, I'm going to show you. It's going to fit into the envelope, please. And it's really a great little fun fold. Easy to do. This card was a little bit tricky to cut up. So our card base is done. We have our envelope as we're using the coordinating envelope. So that's going to go together. This is the one I messed up on. That'll be scraps. So what else do you need? Well, you need 2 pieces of basic white that are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. This is for the back. I'm going to set that on my clip here. I've already done my stamping. Now I laid out my card base with measurements here to show you. There would have been another one over here, but where did it fall on the floor? Come on, I know I cut it for the back already because I cut it in. Well, we will cut this one if I can't find the 2 little 1/4 inch strips. Okay, so we have a card base. First thing you should do is take your card base. Sorry, the nails are being difficult. Oop, there's my 2 little pieces I need. Your card base. And you want to cut 1/4 inch off the bottom because your measurement of your card is you want this 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. Now, I forgot to do that when I cut all these up. So I'm going to have to cut all these down real quick. Sorry that you guys got to see me do this. But I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4. I'm going to start with my center piece here. But it is better if you do it all together. So there's one. That piece I don't need to cut down. I'm cutting it all off the bottom as I love that blue sky. So there's 2. And I have 2 more pieces I want to cut down to that. So this piece, trying to keep them the way they go. That does not go there. Okay, these are my pieces. This piece I don't need, that's the end, but to show you guys, we will be doing it. So these all go down to 5 1/4. Five and a quarter. It is, trust me, the first one I made, it is much easier to just cut the whole thing down to 5 1/4. As you're only left, that's not very straight. It moved. And last piece, just a little difficult here with my arm and the splint. All right, so let's look at what we have again. Let's put them back together. That doesn't look right, does it? This piece goes like that. This is the center piece. And then we have our trees. Now this is the piece that was left over here. And this had, let me show you. This was a tree, and I cut this one down to 1/4 inch strips. Well, little less than that because it's like 5/8 of an inch. So there are our pieces for this card. Now I'm going to show you on the back of another card base how I managed to do this. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm not worried about that score line. You cannot see it in this card, okay? So what I needed to do is I took this and I put it on the center. I marked my center, and I wanted a 2-inch strip for the center. So I went out. Did I cut it wrong? And let's see. Did I make this one? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry if I am like... No, this is right. This is a 2-inch strip. My measurements just are... No, that's right. It just looks weird. Okay. So I have, it's just off. So we have 2 inches. So it's 3 1/4 and 5 1/4. There's 2 inches with the centerpiece. Then I needed a, what was it? Again, 7/8 of a piece for this mark. So from here to here is 7/8 of an inch, which brings it to, from 5 1/4, it's 6 1/4, and then 7 7/8, because this needs to be 1 3/4. So you start at 5/8 of an inch, you cut, because this, we're not using that piece. 2 3/8 of an inch is 1 3/4. This is 7/8, 2 3/8 to 3 3/4. From 3 3/4 to 5 1/4 is the 2-inch mark. And then once again, we need 7/8. So it's 5 1/4 to 6 1/8. And then 1 3/4 is 6 1/8 to 7 7/8. And we're left with that little tail on there. And that is how I got all my little pieces. It might seem confusing. If you are doing this, I do recommend you use a ruler and you mark on the back of your paper. No one's going to see this. I'm still going to use this. No one's going to see my little pencil marks. But I do have it cut. I wonder if you can see it. See, there's a little pencil mark there. This piece, the 2 little pieces on both ends, I'm not going to use this one. I decided to use this piece on the back side of my card. And I hope I'm not confusing you guys. So here we go. This little piece is going to be added to that. So I'm going to stick those with this, and we're going to get on with our card. Now, if you were just using DSP, you wouldn't need to cut the card base this up. You just need the measurements. 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, you need to cut 2. 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/4 you need to cut 2, and then you need a 2-inch piece by 5 1/4, and you only need one of those. So let's get on with putting them where they begin. And it is easier if you start, and I'm going to do it this way just because of my arm, if you start at one end. And there is room with these measurements. You could add another layer behind them, but I just couldn't do that with my arm and the way I'm feeling today, guys. So I'm just putting a little long rectangle, and I'm using the first piece to line up the second, and so forth. So I'm going to keep doing it this way. This is the part that has that score line, but it is so gorgeous, guys. You do not notice it. It is like minuscule, so no frets and no worries over using this piece. So next piece again. And here we go. I think I need a migraine shot. Got a really, really bad migraine coming on. And I'm like, nope, I am finishing this video. Oh, I've been dying to get out here. I just haven't felt like getting out of bed. It's been really bad. And then, of course, my arm in its sling makes it difficult to do anything. But it's healing. And I see the doctor in a week and then in another week to check on it. So look how easy that was. Just gluing those down. And it makes a beautiful, beautiful scenery. Just gorgeous. I think so anyways. I just love this. So then we're going to work on our back pieces now. Might as well. And you have plenty of room to stamp, to do whatever you would like back here. I'm going to leave it blank if I could get them apart. I'm going to start with one, and I'm just going to run a little bitty bit of glue. And I might have to trim this up, as I did not cut this down to the 5 1/4. So we'll just snip that off in a minute. So there's one. Now we have that one, and then we need one. So it's going to go like this. So this one is going to go on this side. Want all that blue sky, just like I did on the others. All right, so I'm going to snip these off now. Where's my glue scissors? Ugh. There's one snip, 2 snips, and then we're going to glue these down. So one here. Hopefully it's in camera view, guys. And this one right there, and it's kind of framing. If you wanted more room to write, add another panel there, the same size as what's on the front. So that's our back. Now I've got, I think, just about everything else done and prepped. So I have 3 little elements here. This one says nature is all you need. We're going to use that. And this is just some ephemera for my scrapbooking stuff. This says explore your world. And you could use the ephemera that came with this stamp set. I think we're going to mix it around. I think we're going to put this one here. We're going to put explore your world in the sky. And this one, it came with, excuse me guys, it just came with 2 pieces. Came with a compass and a little binoculars, and those could go just like that or down like this. So you can use those pieces. I'm just saving them for something else. This one needs some dimensionals, so let's see. I think 2 will do it. I'm thinking, no, did I use 2 different card bases? Look at that. One goes one way and one is the other direction. Interesting. Do you see that? These trees are over here for this card base. Don't know how that is, but that's how it came out. That's how it's printed. So, okay. Very, very interesting. Okay, the backings do not want to come off for me, and my arm is like... So this little nature is all you need. It's going to go at a little bit of an angle there. And then I used, this is one of our sentiment strips from the kit, and it had that wild wheat little detail on it. That's why I chose the wild wheat cardstock. And then I stamped the saying, "Life is meant for good friends and great adventures," in Pebbled Path. And then you can see me, I have, that's going to end up staying twisted. I put some dimensionals on the back. The handy dandy Scotch tape wasn't so handy and dandy with this. With my arm, I had a really difficult time. So I just looped it around and around. And I want to keep that separate. So let's see if I can get this on here where I want it. All those little loopy goodnesses. This is going so pretty, right like so in the center of the card. Now we can do a couple of things. I chose on this card, I chose to do these polished dots, just the clear ones. But on this card, I believe I'm going to use some of these pearlized enamel effect. And I think I'm going to go with the black. So I'm going to give it a little test here, just to get it started. Oh, most definitely. No, I want to do two here. 1, and 2. And then I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to do 1 here, 2, and 3. And I would like to go and squish those little toppers down some. So let me put that little scrap away. Grab another, because I just don't like that they got those little peaky peaks on them. Oh, that didn't help. Okay, so that is my card. That's a little better. I'm gonna have to practice with that a little bit more to get better. So I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry that I'm just not quite there with this video, but recovering from having the flu or the cold, whatever I had for the last 4 days, was interesting. So there's our envelope to match. I think this is a great fun fold. It does stand up all on its own. It gives you a great visual front and back, and you can decorate the front and then do the back with another card. It would be gorgeous. I'm just saving my stuff to do more projects, get more out of my kit. So I hope you guys like it enough to give me a thumbs up, to make a comment, because I love your comments. I still read them as I've been laying down. It took me a while. I had to take my sling off to reply. So I had to wait a while. But I hope to see you guys again in my wonderland. Bye-bye now.